When we think about the foundations of good health, the very first thing that comes to mind is the food we put into our bodies each day, and focusing on whole, natural foods is one of the most powerful choices you can make if you want to improve your eating habits without following complicated diets or restrictive rules, because the body responds best to food that is as close to its natural state as possible, untouched by heavy processing or artificial additives. And this principle is simple enough for anyone to follow no matter where they live or what lifestyle they have, because it shifts the focus from numbers, calories, or temporary food trends toward nourishing the body in a sustainable and realistic way. And in the United States especially, where convenience foods dominate grocery shelves and fast food restaurants are on nearly every corner, the importance of whole foods cannot be overstated, since they give us vitamins, minerals, fiber, and antioxidants that our bodies thrive on, while reducing the intake of harmful ingredients that are linked to obesity, diabetes, and heart disease. And if you look at the eating habits of communities across the country that enjoy better health outcomes, you'll notice they rely more heavily on fruits, vegetables, legumes, lean meats, nuts, and whole grains rather than on frozen meals or sugary snacks. And this choice doesn't just improve physical health, it influences energy levels, mood, and even mental clarity throughout the day, because the nutrients in whole foods work together to fuel every cell in your body. Think about starting your morning with a bowl of oatmeal topped with fresh blueberries and almonds instead of a sugary pastry and a soda. The difference is striking, because the oatmeal provides fiber to keep you full, the blueberries deliver antioxidants that help protect your cells from damage, and the almonds give you healthy fats and protein that stabilize your energy, while on the other hand, the pastry and soda flood your system with refined sugar, causing a quick burst of energy followed by a crash that leaves you sluggish and craving more sugar. And this example illustrates how whole foods create a steady, balanced foundation for your day, making it easier to concentrate at work or school, and reducing those afternoon slumps so many Americans struggle with. And when you multiply that effect across all your meals, the difference in overall health becomes even more dramatic, with better digestion, improved immune function, and less reliance on processed snacks. One of the easiest ways to make this change is by simply aiming to add more color to your plate at every meal, because color in food usually means a wider range of nutrients. So when you add spinach, carrots, bell peppers, or strawberries, you are actually feeding your body with a variety of vitamins and minerals that it cannot get from beige, colored processed food. And this method is simple enough for families, busy professionals, or even college students to follow without needing any complicated nutrition charts, since all you need to do is look at your plate and ask yourself if there are different colors present. And if the answer is yes, then you're already making a healthier choice. And this shift is particularly important in the American diet, because research shows that most people in the United States do not consume enough fruits and vegetables on a daily basis, with many relying too much on refined grains and packaged meals that are stripped of nutrients. But when you start prioritizing fresh produce, whole grains like brown rice or quinoa, and proteins like chicken, fish, or beans, you immediately raise the quality of your diet and give your body the natural fuel it was designed to use. Another important aspect of focusing on whole foods is reducing your intake of hidden ingredients that are often packed into processed products, because when you pick up a packaged snack or frozen meal, it is common to find long lists of chemicals, preservatives, artificial flavors, and added sugars that are not only unnecessary but harmful in large amounts. And these ingredients contribute to long-term health issues like high blood pressure, inflammation, and weight gain, and many Americans consume these without even realizing it, since food marketing often disguises them with labels like low-fat or diet-friendly, while still packing in artificial sweeteners and sodium. But when you choose whole foods, you avoid this problem entirely, because an apple, a sweet potato, or a piece of grilled salmon doesn't come with a long ingredient list. It is the ingredient, and that kind of simplicity is what makes whole foods both trustworthy and effective in supporting health. And over time, your taste buds adjust, making natural foods more enjoyable and reducing the cravings for overly processed options. Another benefit is affordability and accessibility, because many people assume eating whole, natural foods is expensive or only possible for those with higher incomes, but that's not true when you look at it practically, because staples like beans, lentils, brown rice, seasonal vegetables, And eggs are some of the most budget-friendly foods available in any American grocery store, and they provide incredible nutrition for their price. And even though organic options or specialty health foods can cost more, the core of whole food eating does not depend on those items. It simply depends on choosing fresh, unprocessed basics. And even frozen fruits and vegetables can be excellent choices when fresh ones are not available, because they retain most of their nutrients and last longer, helping families stretch their food budgets while still eating well. So the idea that whole food eating is difficult or costly is more of a misconception than a reality. And with a little planning, it can actually save money by reducing the need for constant takeout or convenience meals. When we talk about healthy eating, people often focus only on the kinds of foods they choose. But another critical part of the conversation is how much they eat and the way they consume those meals, because portion control and mindful eating can make just as big a difference as the actual ingredients on your plate. And this is especially relevant in the United States, where portion sizes have grown dramatically over the past few decades, with restaurants and fast food chains normalizing extra, large servings that go far beyond what the body actually needs. And when you are constantly exposed to oversized meals, your sense of what a normal portion looks like can become distorted, leading to unintentional overeating and weight gain. And studies have shown that even when people are served larger portions without realizing it, they tend to eat more simply because it is in front of them, which means the environment plays a huge role in shaping our eating behaviors. So learning to control portion sizes is a skill that protects your health without requiring you to eliminate your favorite foods altogether, because it's about balance, not restriction. And this approach is practical for anyone who wants to feel better while still enjoying meals with family and friends. Mindful eating takes this a step further by asking us to pay closer attention to the act of eating itself, rather than rushing through meals or eating while distracted by phones, television, or work. Because when you slow down and really experience your food, you become more aware of your hunger and fullness cues. And that awareness helps prevent overeating naturally without counting calories or following strict diet rules. And in the United States, where so many people eat on the go or multitask during meals, this practice can have an especially powerful impact, because eating in a distracted state often leads to consuming more food than the body needs before the brain even realizes it is full, and that extra intake adds up over time, contributing to health issues like obesity and digestive discomfort. But by eating mindfully, you begin to notice the flavors, textures, and aromas of your meals, which not only makes eating more enjoyable, but also satisfies you with less food, since the body and brain are given the chance to connect during the process of eating. A simple way to begin practicing portion control is to use smaller plates and bowls, because research shows that when food is served on a smaller dish, people tend to eat less while still feeling satisfied, as the visual perception of a full plate sends a signal to the brain that you are getting enough. And this can be particularly helpful in households where large plates have become the norm. And another strategy is to start meals with a glass of water or a small salad, which helps fill your stomach with something light and hydrating before moving on to heavier foods, reducing the likelihood of overeating. And when dining out, one effective habit is to share large entrees, order half portions, or ask for a to-go box at the start of the meal so you can set aside half before you begin eating, because restaurant meals in the US are often double or triple the recommended serving sizes, and being proactive helps you enjoy the experience without consuming more than your body requires. Mindful eating also involves being intentional about chewing food slowly, putting down utensils between bites, and listening to your body's hunger signals instead of eating on autopilot. And although this may sound simple, it can be surprisingly challenging in a culture where fast meals are common and people often eat in their cars, at their desks, or in front of a screen. But slowing down helps digestion, allows the stomach time to communicate with the brain, and can prevent the cycle of constant snacking that so many Americans fall into. And this practice doesn't require any special tools or expensive products, just the willingness to pause and pay attention to the act of eating itself, which can transform meals into moments of self-care rather than hurried tasks. Another benefit of portion control and mindful eating is the way they help manage cravings and reduce emotional eating, because many people turn to food when stressed, bored, or anxious. And in the United States, where high stress levels and busy lifestyles are common, this pattern can easily spiral into overeating. But by becoming more mindful, you can start to distinguish between true physical hunger and emotional triggers. And when you recognize that you're not really hungry, you can choose a healthy response, like taking a walk, practicing deep breathing, or simply waiting a few minutes to see if the craving passes. And over time, this awareness can break the habit of using food as a coping mechanism, creating a healthier relationship with eating overall, while still allowing room for treats in moderation, because the goal is balance, not perfection. Portion control also aligns with the nutritional needs of the body at different stages of life, because a young athlete may require more calories to fuel activity, while an older adult with a slower metabolism may need less. And being mindful of how much is truly necessary for your unique body helps prevent both undereating and overeating, supporting long-term health goals without rigid rules. And this flexibility is especially valuable in the US, where diet culture often promotes extreme approaches like cutting out entire food groups, which may lead to short-term results but rarely lasts. While portion control and mindful eating can be practiced consistently because they adapt to your lifestyle and preferences, making them sustainable for years to come. And by integrating these habits into everyday life, you can enjoy the foods you love in moderation while still protecting your health, maintaining a healthy weight, and feeling more in tune with your body. One of the most practical and impactful strategies for healthy eating is planning and preparing ahead, because even when people understand the importance of whole foods and portion control, they often struggle to follow through in the midst of a busy schedule. And in the United States, where long work hours, commuting, and family responsibilities dominate daily life, the temptation to grab fast food or packaged snacks is extremely high, not because people don't care about their health, but because convenience often outweighs good intentions. And this is where planning becomes the bridge between knowledge and action, as it allows you to make healthy choices accessible and automatic, removing the stress of last-minute decisions and ensuring that nutritious meals are ready when you need them most. And the reality is that when healthy options are within reach, people are far more likely to eat them. Whereas when nothing is prepared, even the most disciplined person can fall into the trap of drive-through meals, vending machines, or sugary convenience snacks that provide short-term relief but undermine long-term well-being. Planning ahead starts with something as simple as creating a weekly meal plan, and this doesn't have to be complicated or rigid. It can be as straightforward as deciding what breakfasts, lunches, and dinners you'll prepare for the next few days and writing down the ingredients needed. And by doing this, you eliminate the daily stress of wondering what to cook and reduce the chances of ordering unhealthy takeout because you feel unprepared. And in fact, many families across the US have found that meal planning saves money as well, because it prevents impulse purchases at the grocery store and reduces food waste, which is a significant issue in American households. And when you plan meals, you also ensure balance, making it easier to include a variety of proteins, vegetables, and whole grains instead of relying on repetitive or less nutritious options. Meal prepping is the natural next step after planning, and it can be done in whatever way fits your lifestyle best, such as batch cooking large portions of chicken, beans, or roasted vegetables that can be stored in containers for quick use throughout the week. And this method has become increasingly popular in the US because it allows busy individuals to save time while still eating balanced meals. And even though it requires an initial investment of effort on 1 or 2 days of the week, the time saved later is enormous, as having ready-to-go meals means you don't have to cook from scratch every single day. And this system also helps with portion control because meals can be divided into individual containers, preventing overeating and making it easier to stay consistent with nutrition goals. Another simple but effective part of preparing ahead is stocking up on healthy snacks that are easy to grab when hunger strikes, because one of the biggest reasons people fall off track in the US is the accessibility of processed junk food that is marketed as quick and satisfying. But if you take the time to prepare snack bags of nuts, cut vegetables, hard-boiled eggs, yogurt, or fresh fruit, you create your own convenience system that supports your health instead of sabotaging it. And having these options ready in the refrigerator, pantry, Or even your work bag reduces the urge to buy chips, candy, or sodas during the day because you already have a healthier option within arm's reach. And this kind of preparation might seem small, but it adds up significantly over weeks and months, making it one of the most realistic strategies for busy Americans who want to eat better without giving up their fast-paced routines. Another benefit of planning and preparing ahead is the control it gives you over your food environment, because when you wait until the last moment to decide what to eat, you are often at the mercy of what is nearby or most convenient, which in many American neighborhoods means fast food restaurants or processed snacks at the gas station. But by preparing ahead, you take back control and create an environment that supports your goals. And this might look like cooking extra dinner portions to have for lunch the next day, keeping frozen vegetables in the freezer for quick stir fries, or even making smoothie packs that can be blended in seconds in the morning. And these small habits accumulate into a system that makes healthy eating nearly effortless, because the hard part, deciding and preparing, has already been done in advance, and instead of constantly battling temptation, you set yourself up for automatic success. Planning also extends to situations outside the home, such as bringing a packed lunch to work, preparing healthy options for road trips, or having a plan for what you'll order when dining out. And while it's impossible to control every situation, thinking ahead helps you stay consistent, because you've already considered how to make better choices before you're faced with the pressure of hunger or limited options. And this foresight is one of the reasons why people who prepare ahead are more successful in reaching and maintaining health goals, since they rely less on willpower in the moment and more on the systems they've already put in place. And this is especially valuable in the US, where social gatherings, busy schedules, and constant food marketing create endless opportunities to veer off course. Finally, preparation helps reduce stress, which is itself an important part of overall health, because food-related stress is common in America, where families juggle work, school, and extracurricular activities, often leaving little time for thoughtful cooking. But when meals and snacks are planned and prepared ahead of time, it brings a sense of organization and relief, freeing up mental energy for other responsibilities and making mealtimes more enjoyable rather than rushed or chaotic. And in this way, planning and preparing ahead is not just about eating better, but also about improving quality of life, because it creates structure and peace of mind in a world that is already full of stress and demands on our attention. So as we bring everything together, it becomes clear that healthy eating is not about chasing complicated diets or following rules that feel impossible to sustain. It's about creating simple, realistic habits that anyone can practice day after day. And by focusing on whole, natural foods, practicing portion control and mindful eating, and planning ahead so that better choices are always within reach, you build a lifestyle that supports energy, strength, and long-term well-being. And these steps don't require perfection or big sacrifices. They require consistency and a willingness to prioritize your health in small, meaningful ways. Because the truth is that food is not just fuel. It is medicine, it is prevention, and it is one of the most powerful tools we have to live longer, feel stronger, and enjoy life more fully. And the sooner we commit to these simple steps, the sooner we can experience the benefits not just for ourselves, but for our families and communities as well. Because when one person makes healthier choices, it often inspires others to do the same, creating a ripple effect that can change lives across generations. And that is the real power of simple, healthy eating.